Hey everyone, it's Sammy from Push Square, and in this video I wanted to show off a little bit of Monster of the Deep Final Fantasy 15, which is the fishing game that released for PlayStation VR this week. So I've played about 2 or 3 hours of the game so far, and I'm going to get into my impressions in this video, but please do like the video if you're so inclined. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation VR content, and with that said, let's get into it. So, for a game that's always looked like a bit of a gag, frankly, Monster of the Deep is actually surprisingly fleshed out. The game packs a story mode alongside multiple Final Fantasy 15 style hunts, and there's a lot to do in this PlayStation VR powered angling adventure. I will admit that the quality is a little bit inconsistent across the board, but I'm finding that catching carp with Noctis and crew is becoming a bit of a guilty pleasure. So, like I said earlier, I'm about 2 or 3 hours into the game so far, and while the plot's yet to really come together, it essentially sees you rescued by resident Hammerhead mechanic Cindy after a literal Monster of the Deep wipes out your fishing boat, and then it's down to you to reel in all of the demonic sea life inhabiting Eos's waters, and of course catch a few regular whoppers in the process. So the character creator is the same as the one in the recent Comrades multiplayer expansion, so you have a fair amount of leeway to create a cool looking angler. The really neat thing is that you can customize your protagonist with like tattoos and other features, and then of course when it switches the perspective to first person in virtual reality, you're able to sort of look at your arm and see the tattoos that you added to your character and so on and so forth. Most of the game takes place at various lakesides, but there is a kind of wooden cabin hub where you can buy new tackle, rods and clothing, and then there's a car that you can get in, and this basically allows you to select your next mission, where characters from like Final Fantasy 15 storyline will show up to help add a little context to what you're doing and also deliver a hearty helping of fan service. Of course, it's the fishing that you'll be spending the most of your time doing, and while it's simplistic, it is actually still very fun. Casting, as is always the case in these games, is the most difficult task by far. You need to kind of flick the PlayStation Move forward from behind your shoulder and then release the line at just the right moment to hit the area of water that you're aiming for. There is an easier casting option that requires smaller movements, but both are difficult to judge and it's definitely the hardest task in the game. There's also a sonar that shows you sort of where fish are gathered, and the powerful rumble in the PlayStation Move controllers lets you know when you've got a bite. It's then down to you to reel in the fish successfully, accounting for the critter's swimming pattern and stuff like that. So in the hunts, you're tasked with catching a very specific type of fish, forcing you to kind of ensure that you've got the right tackle for the job. However, the story missions see you build up a meter by freely catching fish, resulting in a battle against a particular demon. And these are set piece type affairs and are actually strangely quite exciting for a fishing game. And I mean, the visuals are certainly very impressive too, with Final Fantasy 15's world looking absolutely delicious in PlayStation VR, but my biggest gripe is that the motion tracking seems a little bit swimmy, and that can break the immersion quite a bit actually. Furthering that, some of the cutscenes are displayed in cinematic mode, which really pulls you out of the experience as well. But ultimately, there's way more game here than I was expecting. I mean, I balked at the price point of this when I first saw it, and I was anticipating more of a minigame, but this does in fact feel like a standalone product, albeit one heavily based upon last year's Final Fantasy 15. Nevertheless, I'm looking forward to perfecting my casting skills, and I'm going to publish a full written review on pushsquare.com in the coming days. If you're interested in checking that out, do visit the site. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation VR and PS4 content, and thank you so much for watching. Cheers.
Anyway, I've gotta go, but we should hang out again sometime. I can introduce you to the guys. I'll be sure to tell them all about your mad skills. Later.